Hello everyone, I am Manali Reshamwala, Assistant Professor from LJ Institute of Physiotherapy. Today I am going to talk about Cardiac Resuscitation Part 2. That is a part of syllabus for Physiotherapy in Cardiopulmonary Conditions subject for final year physiotherapy students of Gujarat University. As in part 1 video tutorial, I had discussed about the cardiac arrest and introduction of cardiac resuscitation. Now you would have got idea how an important role of person who is giving cardiac resuscitation. Let's revise the basic ABCD of resuscitation, where A, B and C are included in basic life support, that is airway, breathing and circulation. D, E, F are included in advanced life support, where D suggests drugs, E is ECG monitoring, F is fibrillation treatment, that is defibrillator, use of defibrillator. Then prolonged life support, where G suggests judgment of whatever the outcome measure of basic and advanced life support should be taken. Then human mentation, that is H, and I is intensive care. In this video tutorial, we are going to discuss basic life support in detail. The basic life support, where A stands for airway. We need to ensure that patient has a patent airway. By that we have to extend the neck when patient lying in supine, with opening of the mouth can suggest that the airway is patent. We need to remove fluid and debris from the mouth using finger and suction as necessary. If we find any kind of thing which is in mouth which may obstruct the airway, you need to remove it either by using finger or using suction. Next, insert a pharyngeal airway if necessary and available. If we are at the hospital setup, if we have an emergency care around, we can use a pharyngeal or pharyngeal airway, which will help us to keep the airway patent. Next is B, breathing. Breathing, if we know that patent airway is maintained, then second thing we need to check is whether patient is breathing or not. If the patient is breathing, roll him on his side into a stable position while the head tilted back. Maintain a patent airway and check the breathing does not stop. We need to just observe that patient until we can get an emergency service which can bring that to hospital. After that we need to check the pulse. But what if the patient is not breathing? Then we have to make the patient lie on his back, that is in supine lying position. After that we need to inflate the patient lung rapidly 3 to 5 times using one of the following method. Method 1 is use of mouth to mouth or mouth to nose ventilation. Where we don't have any kind of equipment available, we can use this. Second, insert a Brook airway, give mouth to airway ventilation. We can also use a roll of paper or a book or magazine to make it like a Brook airway. Third is ventilate the patient using a bag or mask, that is using Ambu bag. Here it is shown, like in first figure we can see the person is giving mouth to mouth breathing to patient. Second is Brook airway. The uppermost figure shows how a Brook airway looks like, and we have to insert in a mouth by keeping the patient's airway patent, and we can blow air into Brook airway. And last figure is of Ambu bag, where a mask is being applied to patient, keeping the airway patent, and squeezing the Ambu bag gives artificial ventilation. We need to make sure that while giving artificial ventilation, the patient's lungs are inflating, and that we can see by increase or the raise of the chest level. When we are blowing air into patient's mouth, there should be raise in the chest so that we can get to know that air is going inside the lung. If it is not happening, that there may be either some obstruction in the airway, or the seal between you and patient is not correct, or simply whatever the amount of blowing of air is very much low. We need to blow it more. After that, we need to feel for carotid pulse. We need to check the pulse at the carotid artery, as we had explained earlier, that here it is easier to palpate and get the idea about circulation. If the pulse are present but no spontaneous ventilation, then continue giving 12 inflations per minute. We need to give 12 inflations in a minute, which are near normal to our respiratory rate. Next is C, that is circulation. Most of the time when patient has come across with an accident, there will be extra bleeding, there will be external hemorrhage. At that time we need to first control the bleeding by applying pressure to the bleeding point and elevating that part if appropriate. So we need to apply pressure in the area where we find the source of hemorrhage. Then if the pulse is absent and no spontaneous breathing also, then transfer the patient to floor. If he is already on a hard surface, that is fine, and start giving external cardiac massage. These external cardiac massage should be given on patient's sternum. We need to place one hand on that is heel of the hand, this is known as the heel of the hand, on the midpoint of the sternum shown in a figure. We need to place another hand on heel of the hand on that hand as shown in the figure B. We need to apply pressure right angle downwards. We need to keep our elbows straight and try to give pressure from the shoulder down. This way we can squeeze the heart and major arteries between sternum and vertebral body. When we apply pressure, the blood inside the heart will be forced or to move forward. After that, we need to release that force just up to 50%. That means we are not lifting off our hand from the body, just we are without losing contact, we are reducing the pressure. That reduction of pressure will allow venous return to occur and blood to reach into the heart again, so that in next pressure we can force that blood to move forward. By that way we can maintain circulation. It's a kind of pumping effect which we are giving externally. This is known as external cardiac massage. If any single person is there to be handled both the things, that is circulation and ventilation, that there is a ratio which helps us how much amount of time we need to give ventilation and how much amount of numbers we need to give for external cardiac massage. And the ratio is 2:5. If there is a single operator, then alternate 2 quick lung inflations with 15 sternal compression should be given. And that sternal compression should be at a rate of 80 per minute. That means it should be that fast but hard enough to provide circulation. But luckily, if there are 2 operators, we can use 1:5 ratio, in which one operator is giving cardiac massage and one operator is giving artificial ventilation. The person who is giving cardiac massage is giving compression at rate of 60 per minute. That is 1 second, 1 compression. And every fifth compression, the another person is giving artificial ventilation. So alternate 1 lung inflation with 5 sternal compression. After a minute, they both can switch their places so that one does not get tired, and whatever the thing which they are giving can be given appropriately. These resuscitation or basic life support should be continued until a spontaneous pulse return. We also need to continue it until an emergency service comes to us and takes things on it. But they will have to also continue with the same thing until the spontaneous pulse returns. For prolonged life support and advanced life support, please go through my next video tutorial, that is cardiac resuscitation part 3. For part 2, the reference is here. Thank you.